Thanks everyone for joining
Cool.
back.
Yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming back
Yeah.
straight in. Yeah, so I was just talking about Bath, and um one of the Bath crew was actually just sent a message via Chris. I I met her actually in first year Bath Uni, so that's 2003. That's going way back.
Wow.
It's going way back. So yeah, but anyways, Bath was cool, and I studied. I did 2 degrees at Bath actually.
Hmm.
Um, do you want me to wait for people to join in before I carry on, or
They're still joining in, so we can go on.
okay?
Yeah.
Let's do join. Okay. So yeah, so I did 2 degrees. My bachelor's was in chemical engineering, chemical and
Okay.
biomedical engineering. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It
Sharp guy.
was. Well, I tell you what, it took a lot. It took a lot out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. It took
Yeah.
a lot out of me. So so yeah, that was. Well, it was good in the end, because again, it taught me something. Shout out to my sister Tosin, who's on the
Mm.
live. When I was having challenges
Mm.
on the course, she told me that the person, because I really just wanted to drop out of uni. It was that bad.
Wow.
But she told me that, what, the person that finishes uni is a boss, basically. I
Come
mean,
on.
she kind of said it in my language, so I'm kind of trying to translate it to
Yeah,
English. But yeah, it was basically that, the person that can finish uni is a boss. So
definitely.
to work hard and make sure that I finish.
Mm.
And so that's what
So
I did.
you did 2 degrees, you said?
Yes, so I started with a bachelor's
Yeah.
in with Chem-Eng, chemical engineering,
Yeah.
and then after that, because I didn't want to work as a chemical engineer,
Right.
I I was able to then get onto a master's course to
Hmm.
do computer science.
Okay.
And so computer science and that degree paved the way for a lot of what I'm doing now. Computers are something that I've worked on since I was trying to remember the other day how long I've been playing around with computers, and it's pretty much since my dad was able to buy us one, in Nigeria, and
Yeah.
that would have been about 97, 98
Hmm.
sort of thing. So yeah, and yeah, I was the one. I remember I was helping my mom because my mom used to work in in the civil service then,
Okay.
and she had these Excel sheets that she had to do. She had to, write up all these kind of costs and things and
Yeah.
do addition and subtraction and stuff. And so I just kind of taught myself how to use Excel, how to
Okay.
use Microsoft Excel,
Right.
and I was doing this work for her that she'd have to do and then print off and take to her boss. Yeah, 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 yeah. Dipsy in the Windows
Yeah,
95.
Windows
Yeah.
95 was the one.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. These young people don't know about that. These young people don't know. They don't know about those that noise that you'd get when you start off.
Yeah. And the Windows kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
flies
and the
across.
windows fly.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Now we're just
yeah, and all
revealing our
this.
age.
Right? We can't even hide it anymore. We can't even hide it anymore. And do you remember those old screensavers used to have you'd have like pipes when pipes are going, or when you can write a word and it's like in
And then
3D
and
and
then
it's
it starts like
flipping
it
around,
bounces
going
off the
bouncing.
edge. It's
Oh
that's
gosh, oh
good
gosh.
times, good times.
Things
Awesome.
have moved on since then.
So I mean, so would you say that you had a passion for IT since you were younger then?
Yes, yes,
Mm.
I believe very much that I've had a passion for IT, and there's this is a screensaver challenge, guy. um, I have had the passion for IT,
Yeah.
and it comes in different ways. For some people, their passion in IT would have meant that they were breaking down computers and doing a lot of hardware.
Mm.
Shao Ko Ofosu, Ko Ofosu.
Yeah.
Hello, thank you for joining us. for some people, it would be breaking down computers. For some people, it would be kind of programming and coding and stuff like that. For me, it was just the applications and just getting to know how they worked and that was my strength. I realized I did a bit of coding when I got to this country when I was doing my A level or my foundation course.
Oh,
I
okay.
did a bit of HTML coding. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Doing the website, where you build up, where you write all the code from scratch and do the
Yeah.
formatting if you want it in the center and all that. And yeah, so I did HTML. I can't remember if style sheets were a thing then, but maybe not then, but maybe if a few years later is
Yeah.
when style sheets, became a thing, and I was doing that then as well. And yeah, so I was doing that. Mr. Kadosh, mate, I've been a proud geek for ages, so I don't even like, try and hide that. I'm a proud geek. It was again one of, and it's so important, the people that you meet in your life,
Yeah.
the people that you meet in your life that will help to either to reinforce certain things or to build certain things in you. There was someone that I I met
Hmm.
online because when we were at uni, do you remember like the MSN Messenger days and things like that?
I do.
There
I
was
do.
some, yeah,
Yeah. I'm not
there
sure
was
we're using
someone
it for the
that
same purpose, but I do remember MS.
there was MSN Messenger. I mean, if anybody here knows Yahoo groups, that would be even that's that's another level.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
definitely another level.
that's another level. But there was someone that I met, and I don't think she's on this live, but
Thank God.
her name is Adara, and she she was the one that first introduced me to the concept of being a proud geek, of like being
Okay.
geek and proud,
Yeah.
because because going back to 2003, 2004, 2005, people still thought, people still like to kind of diss you if you were like too geeky or nerdy and stuff, but you're like, nah, you got to own it, because if that's what you do,
Yeah.
like, and that's what you're good at, own it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've just always known to own it since. And look at the world now. The
Yeah.
geeks
All
are
the
ruling
geeks are ruling the
everything.
world now. They're making all
The
the money.
nerds are ruling everything. Exactly, exactly. So I used to say that if I had done, because the course that I wanted to do at uni, um, which I didn't, when I was considering dropping out of my bachelor's, I wanted to do psychology with computer science.
Okay. Okay.
That's the course that I want to do, because psychology is something that I'm interested in, and computer science was something that I was interested in. So I wanted to
Yeah.
combine both.
Okay.
Um, that's the course that Mark Zuckerberg did at uni that he dropped out of. I used to tell people, shout out Maureen Virtue, my sister. I used to tell, yes, psychology and computer science
Mhm.
is the course that Mark Zuckerberg did, and yeah, I realized from very early on with Facebook that Facebook firstly a psychological tool,
Mm.
and like a relational tool, than a tech tool. It was there was something about the sociology and the psychology of socializing,
Yeah.
and of the and of social environment,
Yeah. That
you know
was kind of
that
implemented. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, that. That's what was interesting, and that's what he was playing on. If you watch the movie Social Network,
Hmm.
I think he said that he didn't he said it's not that accurate, or
Hmm.
he didn't confirm or deny, kind of thing, but
Yeah.
I believe that movie kind of still had some insight into the kind of thing that was going on. And if you see how it started, it was about the psychology of what do people think about the people that they're going to university with,
Yeah.
and how do they rate them, and how do they consider them, and how do people connect.
Hmm.
It's the psychology of all of that. So yeah, so anyways, that was what I had wanted to study. And
Definitely.
who knows, and I still take time to try and read about the study of human beings and how we think, because that also fascinates me endlessly. But yeah, so
Oh,
that's a little bit about, yeah, my
awesome.
time in uni.
So how did you get into politics? Because I've known you as a president and that kind of stuff. I'm joking. Um, that was a personal joke, by the way. Um,
I'll come back to that one later. I'll
definitely,
come back to
definitely,
that
as
one
the
later.
interview progresses.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, cool. So, I mean, how did those events, like leading up from growing up from Nigeria and coming to the UK, going straight into uni, kind of having a tough time in uni, and then switching courses, like, how did those events like shape the man who you are now?
Um, how they shaped me, I would say that one of the key things that they did for me, my not doing so well in my bachelor's degree, that was the first taste I had of substantial failure,
Mm,
of wanting to do something and basically not being able to do it. And it broke me to some extent,
right.
but I'm grateful for the opportunity because once I was able to get up and learn from that,
Yeah.
I I then understood something that one of my friends says,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not though he's not on. He says about failing forward.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about how that's Yao, by the way, so shout out Yao. He talks about failing forward and the importance of being able to to make mistakes, to
Mm-hmm.
get things wrong, and to build on top of that.
Yeah.
And so you know, I remember being distraught and just about everything that was going on. Oh, Bayo's joined. Sorry, Bayo is someone that I've known from Grange years actually.
Oh
So
wow.
thank you for joining, Bayo. Yeah,
Shout out
yeah, yeah,
Byron.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out Bayo. He's the bad boy artist as well. Also another geek. We used to geek it together in Grange times. But yeah, failing taught me how to not feel so precious about success and about um, achieving things, but more about what I can learn
Mm,
through every situation.
mm.
Um, and that was one of the big things that it did for me because now because as we know, being adults now,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of adult life, you will experience some sort of failure.
Definitely.
You will experience some sort of setbacks in
Mm.
relationships, in business, in finances,
Yeah.
in career. And so I'm grateful for that opportunity because it showed me that failure is not the end.
Yeah.
Quite simply, failure is never the end,
Yeah.
never the end at all. And so for me, and that's probably helped into something that we're probably going to talk about later, which is about problem solving. But
Okay.
we'll probably come to that later. But yeah,
Definitely.
that's one thing. That's one big thing it taught me.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Okay, so I think we'd like
yeah.
to shoot straight into the main topic of today and purpose. So where did purpose come in your journey from what you've described so far? When did purpose step in and how did it
That's
affect
a
you?
very good question. When did it come in? That's a very good question. I would say that purpose came in. Um, I would say it came in after university.
Mm,
Now, bearing in mind what I said earlier, that no experience is wasted.
mm,
So I went through university doing different things. I was on my course. I was the president of the ACS
of course,
in my second year.
it makes a lot of sense.
I was a drummer at my local church there, and
Oh,
I also helped out with the Alpha course that was being run there. Um, and and then I had a part-time job a few years into uni
okay.
and all that. So all of that led up to, and then I had my first job after uni, which was still outside London, even though my family had a house in London. It was still outside London. It was in
Yeah.
Cambridge.
Wow.
It was in Cambridge, and I had that job for a while. But then
So you left the town for the
the year,
villages. Okay.
yes, exactly. I do like the small towns. I like a peaceful life. I like a peaceful life. Um, and but I had to leave that job after about 9 months because that year it was 2008. It
Mm,
was the year that the recession hit.
right.
the recession hit everyone hard, and it hit that company hard.
Okay.
And so I had to go home because I got made redundant. Again, another kind of setback, because you leave uni, you're hoping to just get into your career and just be
Yeah.
going, and then the recession hits, and boom, you're
Yeah,
without a
I
job
mean,
in the
how
country.
how did that feel? Was that a dream job, or was that like a stepping stone, or like how did it?
It was an entry-level job,
Right.
and again, yet another opportunity that I'm grateful for, because, like I say, in every situation, in every circumstance, I find that there's always something to learn. And that was the job that gave me, because it was an IT job, so it gave me the chance to look after the department. Granted, it was a smallish company, but it
Mm-hmm.
was still looking after all of the IT for for what we call a small shop,
Mm-hmm.
basically for a company of about 10 to 12 employees. So there's still some things that I learned there that I still use today. So yeah, but when the recession hit and I had to then move back to London, finally now living in London,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't have much going on, so
Mm-hmm.
I then was able to sink myself into working with my church,
Mm.
New Wine Church London, at New Wine London on Instagram. Shout out to the New Wine
Shout
London
out to the
crew.
New Wine crew.
And there I got to meet I got to hear from the founding pastor, Pastor Tayo. He's
Yeah.
passed away now, but there was something that of the many, 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 many things that he taught me and some people on this call that
Mm-hmm.
I can see. One of the things that he taught me was about the fact that your life is the solution to someone's problem,
Wow.
and your life is the answer to someone's question.
Wow.
And when he taught that, and when I deeped that, when I tried to take that in,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, okay. So actually, this life isn't just about, okay, you get a job
Yeah.
and you make some money
Yeah.
and you get some nice things and all that and all that. It's not, it's those things are nice,
Yeah.
but that they are not the end.
Mm-hmm.
They are not the aim. They are not the objective.
Yeah.
And so when I caught that from him, I was like, wow, okay, gotta start living on purpose now.
Mm.
Gotta start living on purpose for a purpose, because there is a reason to me being here.
Yeah.
There is something that I'm meant to be able to do for someone. There's some value that I can add to someone's life. Um, and through that, and then through the various relationships that were formed there, and I'm thinking of so many different names and so many different people, that I just kind of learned the importance of being able to firstly surround yourself with people that are of like minds, and people that can help sharpen your minds,
Yeah.
and then and then using that to encourage you to basically, um, yeah, to add value to someone's life, quite simply. So yeah, so I would say it was at New Wine that things started to crystallize for me. That idea about, okay, purpose, and the importance of purpose, of living a purpose-driven life, to use a phrase that many people on this live will recognize,
Mm-hmm.
as the best-selling book of Pastor Rick Warren. So
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's awesome. So that's so in
yeah.
your so then from what you've told us in from your point of view, how would you define purpose?
How would I define purpose? Quite simply, the reason that a thing exists. The reason that a thing exists. The reason that a thing exists. The phone exists for the purpose of, first it was making a call, then it was making a call and texting, and then it was making a call and texting and taking photos,
Mm.
and then it was making a call and texting and taking photos and going on the internet.
Yeah.
So the purpose is the reason that a thing exists, and
Mm-hmm.
the purpose for a person is the reason that that person is on earth, the reason that you are doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
The reason that you're on earth, rather, the reason that you're on earth, that you were put on earth to do the various things that you do. And it goes so deep, it goes so deep. And, I don't plan to kind of preach or anything, but the majority of my inspiration comes from the Bible, and and I believe in Jesus, I believe in God, and I believe that the Bible is the word of God to us on earth, to help us to make the most of our lives, quite simply, to make the most of our lives now and make the most and prepare ourselves for a life with God in heaven.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the Bible for me informs, quite a lot of the way that I try to live my life, and live my life on purpose. And there is a scripture, there is a verse that comes to mind, so permit me to quote it, which is John 10:10, John chapter 10, verse 10, and the second part that says, I have come. This was Jesus was talking, and he was saying that I have come that they may have life and they may have it abundantly.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, that's part of it, having an abundant life, having a life that is full, having a life that is rich, having a life that is impacting people wherever you go. I believe that every single person that exists has the ability, has the potential to impact someone. The person you see on the street that you're just walking down, just walking past, everybody has that potential.
Yeah.
But the trouble is that a lot of us don't get to tap into it fully. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's what I'll say about purpose. Yeah.
Awesome. That was really good.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
next question I'd like to ask is, so do you believe that you found your purpose, and what would you say your purpose is?
My purpose, I would say that my purpose on a broad scale, is to bring glory to God. And what that means for anyone who's not a Christian, what that basically means is that for the things I say, the things I do, the way that I live my life, to be pleasing and to kind of shine a light, to use that phrase, on the existence and the goodness and the greatness of God.
Yeah.
And so that's my kind of overarching, kind of big picture purpose.
Yeah.
And then as regards the day-to-day, I would say that my purpose tends to be to kind of solve problems, to fix things, to make things work. And some of the people that are on here, they will kind of know me for that.
Yeah.
With like some things that I do is kind of like, oh, how can we get this working?
Yeah.
Now, because I work in tech and I work in IT, it turns out that a lot of the problems I'm fixing tend to be technological problems.
Right.
But those aren't the only kinds of problems. I also look at some other problems, with to do with the various groups and organizations and the way they're set up, and we have to solve kind of strategize at work and things like that. So, but solving problems, that's a big thing for me, being able to help solve problems.
Awesome. Awesome. So I believe that would then take us into the topic of problem solving as well, which we will move into. Before that, we usually, like halfway down the interview, kind of have like a little fun segment.
Okay.
So we'll get into that. But even before that, I can see we have a question from Mr. Kadosh, so we'll answer that. And I'd like to say to viewers, get your questions ready, because after the second half, then towards the end there's a Q&A bit where you ask your questions and you will answer. So let's see if we can tackle this question from Mr. Kadosh. He says, is our purpose ever evolving, or is it defined and fixed? How would you...
Is our purpose ever evolving, or is it defined and fixed? as a Christian, I believe that our ultimate purpose
Mm-hmm.
is defined, is fixed.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate purpose for every Christian is, I believe, to bring glory to God,
Mm-hmm.
to to show the goodness and the greatness of God. That is the big picture purpose. Um, as regards to how we, the day to day, I think that that evolves. And the reason that I think that evolves is because we as people evolve. That's one thing that I've learned over the years. We as people evolve. Now, what do I mean by that? That doesn't mean that I believe, you know, necessarily in the theory of evolution, the way that like Darwin says. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, people evolving, is that there was a time when every one of us on this live, when we didn't know how to even go to the toilet by ourselves.
Yeah.
Then we learned how to go to the toilet by ourselves. Then there was a time that we didn't know how to even spoon feed ourselves. Then we learned how to feed ourselves, with a spoon. And then there was a time when we graduated to being allowed to use forks and knives. And there was a time when we didn't know how to make food, and then we then learned how to make food for ourselves. And then there was a time where we could make food for ourselves, but we didn't know how to go and buy the food to make for ourselves. But then guess what? At some point, we learned how to do that.
Yeah.
And by the way, shout out to Pastor David Adabale for that analogy. That's something that he taught me some years back
Mm-hmm.
that I haven't forgotten, in the way that we grow through different kind of stages of
Yeah,
life.
definitely.
And that's what I mean by we evolve. Now, it's not just that as well. We also evolve, I've found, emotionally, mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So you find people who maybe they used to like wrestling when
Mm-hmm.
they were in their tens and twenties and maybe in their thirties, and then they get to 40s and they don't really care for it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people, maybe they didn't like a type of music, growing up,
Yeah.
and then later on in life they like it. So, and when you to put that to bring that back to kind of purpose and your day to day,
Mm-hmm.
what I found is that, so if I use myself for
Mm-hmm.
example, there was a time that I really loved dancing. The
Okay.
Bath crew will know about that. Actually, the Grange crew might know a bit about that as
Wow,
well.
wow,
I
wow,
used
wow.
to, I used to love dancing. I've danced on stage before. I would people. If I want to put it in 2020 ways of kind of bigging yourself up, people would pay to see me dance.
Okay, okay.
Now, of course, it wasn't really like that. We would put on shows that people would pay for, and some of the attractions would be with me, me and other people dancing.
Yeah.
Shout out Bayo knows about that. um, yeah, Molitego, please keep your question. Actually, should Brenda put her question on now or for later?
Um, Wait, hold on to the question for
Okay,
now. Yeah,
okay,
before
okay,
it
okay,
gets
please.
lost in the comments.
Okay, please.
So hold on to
Yeah,
it. Or send it in the question
yeah,
box.
yeah. Show us tonight. Show us tonight. Nah, sorry,
Oh
sorry,
man, I
sorry.
think we're gonna
That
have a special No Ordinary Talent show one of these days, and
so
we're gonna do this.
that's
This
the
is
point that I
incredible.
was making, because there was a time, and again, I don't think anybody on here knows this. There was a time that I thought that what I wanted to do was be a dancer.
Right.
I thought that's what I wanted to do, basically be dancing
Yeah.
everywhere and anywhere, choreography, freestyling,
Yeah.
breakdancing, all of it. And I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I thought that that was part of my purpose. But then as time and life went on and I got onto different things,
Yeah.
I realized that I still like dancing. My guys know, Kadosh knows, Finders here knows, the people know, when we're at parties, you know how we get
He
down.
shuts it down.
But
It goes down.
but that's no longer like a focal point of my
Yeah,
personal purpose
definitely.
of my day to day. So
Yeah.
I've evolved out of that,
Right. Right.
but that's me personally. What's this we're talking
And
about?
six faith
NSYNC
level.
6 7. Nah. But shout out NSYNC though. NSYNC are on it. NSYNC are on it. But yeah.
Oh man.
Um but yeah, it's yeah, so that's what I mean by us evolving. So to answer the question that Daya
Definitely.
posted about, what does our purpose evolve? I believe that our broader purpose,
Hmm.
it is defined. We have a set purpose that should carry on throughout all of our lives.
Definitely.
But how that is worked out on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year, that can evolve. Absolutely,
Definitely.
that can grow, that can change. So yeah,
Definitely. Thank you so much. That was incredible. Sweet.
you're
So
welcome.
we've
You're
come to
welcome.
like
You're welcome.
halfway in the interview with President Yinka. And yeah, we've come to a little bit of a break, a fun part. Um,
Okay.
since you are a self-proclaimed geek, it's not even self-proclaimed, everybody, you know. So we'd like to test you
Hey,
a little
Mr.
bit.
Kadosh, behave yourself.
So let me give us a tip.
I don't know what you're
But
talking
you
about,
could rap
Mr.
as well.
Kadosh. I don't listen to Tupac, Mr. Kadosh. I don't know what you're talking about.
But were you a rapper as well, as a
man's,
dancer?
man's on that gospel thing. Not well. I wasn't a rapper, but I had a rap hip hop phase. I was really
Okay.
into that. If Vercris is still on, she'll know about that. Me and DJ IE, she'll know about that. We had like a rap hip hop phase, and we're really into a lot of rap songs and stuff. But yeah, so I've kind of moved away from that again because I don't really identify with a lot of rap music these days. So
That's
yeah,
cool. That's cool. We're not
yeah.
right now. We're not rapping enough for you. It's a lot of singing, right? You get it. Cool. So we'd like to
Yeah.
jump into you could call it a game, a quiz. So I've got some abbreviated technical terms, and
Okay,
you will
okay.
have to tell us what the full name is and what it means.
Oh wow, what
Yeah,
tech
just
terms? Oh,
technical terms. So we're just going to test
this is
your
where I'm gonna.
geekness a little bit.
All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Let's
Um,
see. Let's see.
so should I start? I'll start easy. Okay. So SEO.
Search engine optimization.
Sure. And what does it mean? To the layman.
What to the
Very
layman,
quick.
search engine
Very quick.
optimization,
Uh,
very quick, is if your business is selling water bottles,
yeah.
if your company is called SKB bottles,
Yeah.
that's fine. You can call that your business name, and your website can be skb.com.
Hmm.
But search engine optimization means that you want to have some words in your website that are there in the right places in the coding of your website, so that a search engine like Google, which is the most popular one, or there are other ones like DuckDuckGo, shout out DuckDuckGo. Oop, happens for that. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, you're back now, I think.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear you.
are you there? Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, so basically you put those words in there so that the search engine like Google can pick up your website
Okay,
and
you've got
bring
it,
it
you've
up
got it, you've got
higher.
it.
So,
All right,
yeah.
all right, all right. Clap for the president.
Cool.
CTA.
CTA.
Mm-hmm.
CTA.
Yeah.
That's not. Are you sure that's a tech acronym?
Well, kind of.
Because
Kind of.
I'm thinking tax for some reason,
No.
but
Call to
that's
action.
CTA or CTO.
CTA.
Oh, is it like what, chief technical advisor or something?
No. Call to action.
Oh,
Yeah. So now
that's
you're
not a
guessing. You're
tech
guessing
term.
the.
That is a social media term. I don't. Yeah,
Well,
that's a social
it's
media term. Call to action.
kind of
But fine.
technical.
Okay, I guess social media is tech. So okay, fine. Okay, let's challenge.
You have to see where we are coming from. I guess it's a bit more like UI. Okay, what's UI?
User interface. That's easy. That's easy. Yeah.
Okay, please. And what is a user interface?
The user interface is what the user is interacting with. These days, now that everything is all is touch, the user interface is everything that involves, where you are touching, where the buttons are, where the icons are.
Thank you very much. You've got it. You've got it. Thank you very much.
API.
API.
API. Oh, you know what? I know what an API is. I even worked on that in my degree, but the actual definition is I know the I is interface.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember.
A is easy.
Is A application?
Yes, and then the P. You have application. You have interface. What's in the middle?
Is it the application? Is it product?
Programming.
Programming. That's it. Programming interface. Yeah.
Yes. So please explain to us the layman what's.
So what is an API? An API is. Let me try and use something like yes. Let me use Instagram. I hope this is correct, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
Use Google Maps.
Google Maps. Yes, that is a good one to use. So Google Maps. If you have a service, let's say you have a service that is a delivery service, and you want to use Google Maps as the maps for your delivery service, that people can use to track their delivery or whatever, then you would, as part of your design, you would get an API of Google Maps to work with your site. So the API is basically a layer that would go in between Google Maps at the bottom, your the API, and then your app on the top.
It's now sandwich. We've now turned it into sandwich. So it's a good example, like basically Uber. So Uber uses Google Maps API to
exactly. That is a very good example. Uber does use Google's API. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
That's
I know some small stuff.
Yeah. That's how Google stay on top, because of things like that. So,
yeah. Awesome. VPN.
VPN is virtual private network.
Please explain to us, layman.
Virtual private network is now it is a tool that you can use to what's the best way to put this without putting myself in trouble if the authorities see this?
I might lose your job on this one. I'm joking.
VPN is a virtual private network is a way for you to change what you look like on the internet.
Right.
To change what you look like on the internet, because every time you're on the internet, you have a unique identifier. You have many unique identifiers, and one of them is called your IP address. And the IP address can be tracked down to a specific physical location. But a VPN can help you to change that. That is why so for someone, for example, who works in a company that is multinational, so let's say they have an office in the US. If you want to connect to the US office, one way that you might do that is you might use a VPN to connect through, so that then
it looks like you're in America.
Server now sees it, and this person is also in the US. I will let them in. So that is a legitimate use of a VPN. We won't talk about the others.
Awesome. Last one. RDMS.
RDMS. I do know what that is. It's ringing a bell, but is it relative? No, RDMS.
Okay. Forget that.
Oh, is it?
I'll just say what it is.
Data management system?
Yeah, so relational database management system.
Yeah, relational management system. Yeah, so that's basically a database. That's basically a database.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think apparently it organizes it into tables or something like that.
Yes, that's all the database is. It organizes data into tables.
Yeah.
Everything that we use now has a database behind it.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything will have a database. So anybody who's into boring that's the boring part of IT work, but it's good money if you like it. If you can hack it, database management, you'll always be in a job.
Awesome. Thanks. You did well. You scored like
Thank you.
one that you had no idea what it was. But that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, I know.
You have
Yeah.
showed us that you are really IT organ.
Sorry?
So you have showed us that you are really IT organ.
I try. Yeah, yeah. My degree is proper. It's a proper one.
Also, cool. So diving straight back into problem solving and purpose to finish off, and then we get
Yeah.
into some questions and answers. So please, audience, there's a question box next to the comment box. It's got the question sign to it. Please tap on that and throw in your questions, or you can equally put questions in the comment box as well when it's time for it. So yeah, we were speaking about problem solving, and
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that problem solving is one of the definition, how you define your purpose. So would you like to expand a little bit on problem solving as it relates to everyday life for all of us?
Yes. So I think I just found that solving problems is something that I'm quite passionate about, because we encounter lots of different problems in life, and I just found that I like being able to, yeah, just like being able to bring to either work out or being to bring us a solution or contribute to a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
And the problem could range from anything kind of practical, like, oh, a shelf has fallen off or something,
Yeah.
to we want to, have an event for 100 people, but we have this and this obstacle, what do we do about it? And for me, I think it's a form of creativity.
Okay.
And that's something else that I was saying to someone, that I believe that everyone on the earth has creative ability. It's just in the way that it comes out that is different. Because often these days, we talk about creatives, we talk about people like yourself, who, I know you, like you're a designer, a graphic designer, a musician. So we talk about creatives, we tend to be friends with people.
Yeah.
But I believe that God is a creator, and He made us in His image,
Yeah.
and His likeness.
Yeah.
And part of that is, I believe, the ability to create.
Yeah.
We all have the ability to create,
Right.
and it can be anything. You can create a meal.
Mm.
You can create a form for something. You can create a spreadsheet. You can create a work of art. You can create some music.
Yes.
Whatever it is, and you can create a solution to a problem. So yeah, and I just found that problem solving is the slant that I like to put on things. And I think also I don't know how it happened, but I just found that I'm the kind of person who when a problem is brought to my attention, my preference and my natural bent, if I care about the problem, because if I'll be honest, it's not every problem I've ever cared about.
I know what you mean.
No, I'll be honest. You cannot care about every single thing that is brought to your attention.
Yeah.
We don't have the capacity for that as humans. We are finite beings. We have a beginning and an end. We don't have an infinite capacity for anything. So I have a finite capacity for being able to solve a problem. And so if it's a problem that I care about, then yeah, I'm quite passionate about how do we solve it. So, if it's, for example, let's say, now the kind of thing that tends to come my way is, oh, my computer is slow. How can I help with that? Then it's like, okay, you can do this. Okay, so look at this, identify the source of the problem, and then identify so the source or the causes of the problem, and then look at what you can do now, like right now, to mitigate or to cut out those causes,
Yeah.
and then look at then what you can introduce to prevent those causes from coming back, and to try
Okay.
and ward off any other kinds of any other causes of problems. So yeah, now that I'm not saying that I go through a formula in my head every time I do that. It's but I'm just trying to break it down
Yeah.
just in a way that makes to help someone listening understand. But that's kind of just what I like to do, and yeah, yeah. So that's and yeah. So I like solving um, problems that I care about, and I'm grateful actually, because I've learned, not that again, something that I learned somewhere along the way, I picked up from someone somewhere, that you shouldn't despise, or you should be aware of the things that tend to come easier to you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't despise the things that come easier to you.
Yeah.
Be aware of them and hone them
Mm-hmm.
and grow them, because they are an indication as to what where your purpose lies, where the actualization of your purpose lies. So for you, for example, like taking pictures comes naturally to you, so you know that, so you will always kind of veer towards that in a certain situation. Or for someone who maybe they like to do lists and they like to organize things,
Right.
if they're faced with something, their first thinking would be, okay, let's create a list of what's happened here, what's this, what's this, what's this, what's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So we should all be aware of those things that come easier to us,
Mm.
and we should embrace them, hone them, and keep working on them. You don't ever get to the top. You don't ever reach. We keep improving, like we talked about passion evolving.
Yeah.
We keep evolving. Yes, by your talents and gifts. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. If you have a talent, if you have a gift, you just keep working on that. Bio, I remember, sorry to use you, Bio, but when we were in Grange, I do remember him doing little art drawings and
Yeah.
things like that. And I believe he then went on to uni to do kind of graphic design and
Yeah.
things like that. And I believe he's working with that now. And
Mm.
maybe even those animations, I remember he was doing animations at some point. Not sure if he's still doing that now.
Mm.
But that's my point.
Mm.
You find what comes naturally to
Yeah.
you, and you grow in that. I wish I could draw. I cannot draw to
Yeah.
save my I cannot draw to save my life.
You can
But there'll
dance.
be
Yeah.
something
It's
that you
true.
can do. There'll be something that you can do, and so you should hone that. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So from what I'm getting from that, it's like kind of look out for what comes easy to you, hone in on it, and then use those to solve problems.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that.
Exactly. Work out what comes easily, what comes naturally. Use it and hone it. As a friend of mine said, shout out Gracie May. She said something on a podcast with Varai Coach. So yeah, shout out Varai Coach as well. And she said that she believes in strengthening her strengths, I believe it was,
Yeah.
and partnering for her weaknesses.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. If I don't know how to draw, I don't really want to learn how to draw.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather give that to someone
Yeah.
who has spent 10 years doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You buy doing motion graphics. Buy doing motion graphics
Wow.
and animation.
That's
I know
awesome.
someone else
That's
is doing
awesome.
that. Yeah, that's big. That's big. But yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, what comes naturally to you. You're solving someone's problem.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, because someone who maybe likes to do music, maybe then doesn't like to do spreadsheets.
Of course.
Possibly.
So you do the music for us, I do the spreadsheet for you.
Exactly.
And then we
Someone
solve each
do
other's problems. Yeah.
music. Exactly. And that is how communities are the concept. That's how the concept of community is forged.
Yeah.
And that's how a community develops and grows.
Yeah.
When everyone is able to take their strengths and what comes naturally to them, and they're able to serve others with that. They're able to solve someone else's problem with that gift and that talent. And when everyone is doing that, that's how you get a community. That's how you get, a community that is thriving. I believe that, and this is something that I was discussing with some of my friends some few weeks back, that there are some communities that need to do this a bit better, because I need to learn about partnering. I need to learn about working together.
Yeah.
That is one of my dreams, that I'll be able to partner with people that are doing different things.
Yeah.
And so that, we can all together, you can have a solution, like a whole package solution to someone's problem.
Yeah.
That people, there was a firm on Twitter that I came across. I can't remember their name, but it was about, I think, 5 or 6 ladies who are all in tech, but they're all doing different things in tech. One is like a graphics designer, one is a developer, one is a different type of developer. I think one does UI and user interface stuff, and they work together and they created the firm so that everything and anything you need, you get from.
I think I've come across them as well. That's
beautiful. That's the kind of thing that I've wanted to do for ages, and hopefully I will still get to do, because I believe that that's where our strength lies, when we are working on our strengths and developing our strengths and partnering for our weaknesses in order to help with community.
Definitely.
So
awesome.
And by the way, I believe that is a potential solution to the problems that the Black community faces. But we won't go into all of that.
Definitely, that's great. So kind of almost rounding up, how would you say that ties into purpose?
How would I say that ties into purpose? I would say that that quite simply, that's how you that is how it ties it into purpose, is also how it links to something I'll call a buzzword, if I could use that word, which is legacy. How it ties into purpose is when you have a strength, and then you are able to serve someone with it, you're able to solve someone's problem with it, you are feeding into your purpose for life. I'm not saying that, because I don't believe that our purpose is just in what we do. I believe our purpose is a lot more than that. I believe our purpose is in our very existence, is in our very living. Our purpose is in our values and our principles, our attitudes. And as we keep growing and hopefully we keep getting better, we are bringing something good to the world, and that is all part of our purpose.
Can I interrupt 1 second? I'd like to engage the audience. Whilst Yinka's given that answer, would you like to kind of share one thing, the audience, that you feel that it's a problem, no, it's a solution that you can bring to the world, to the general? So tell us one thing, that's the solution that
that you can bring to someone.
You bring. So everyone that's watching, just type one thing that you think is your solution to the world. Thanks.
Absolutely. Please share that. So
type in the comments, guys.
So your strengths will feed into your purpose for life, and your purpose for life will feed into what your legacy is after you've left. One question that I think about pretty much every day. By the way, I'm quite weird in that I think about death pretty much every day. I see, and I'm talking mainly kind of about like my death. And some people might think it's morbid, but I don't, because I see death as a part of life. Death surrounds us in various ways, and I won't even go into that. But death is a part of life for me, and death is an opportunity for life. Kind of thing. There is a question that I heard one of I call him my uncle, the psalmist Kirk Franklin. He said in one of his songs, there was a question that says,
when I die, what will they say about me?
Mm.
One of my mentors, Pastor David Adabale, calls it the moment test. That moment after you've gone, if people are at your funeral, what are they going to say about you?
Mm-hmm.
So to then go back to what we've been talking about, your strength will feed into your purpose,
Yeah.
which will feed into
The
legacy.
Wow.
And your legacy is what you've left when you've left the place
Mm-hmm.
or left the earth. What have you left behind?
Yeah.
What can people point to and say, because of this person, this is what we've got. This is what's happened. This is what's changed. This is what's different. This is what's better.
Yeah.
Um, Dr. Tayo Adeyemi said that whenever you leave a place, try to leave it better than it was when you met it.
Wow.
And it's thoughts like that that kind of drive me. And so when we're talking about kind of strengths and purpose, and people are thinking about careers and jobs, and they're thinking about their family lives and thinking about relationships, if you can apply some of these kind of principles, like try not to leave anywhere worse than you found it. Try to leave it better.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's something else that Pastor Tayo would say. He would say, he said, whatever is given to you, make it better and make it more.
Wow.
Whatever is given to you, make it better and make it more.
Wow.
You know, if someone asks you to do something simple, it could even be, washing dishes, and I try and use trivial things like this so that people don't think that it all has to be, it's all kind of esoteric or
Yeah.
kind of woozy kind of fluffy stuff. I'm talking about practical things that
Yeah.
you can do on a day-to-day.